Fortunately, my memory is not what it used to be, so there's certain things I can remember and some rubbish I can't.
Welcome to yours. We now find out which one of you has been randomly picked to play Perfection. Terry, it's you that's been chosen. Please come and play Perfection. Terry, welcome to the game. Let's find out a bit more about you. Tell us about your family.
I've got a son, 9 years of age. What I'd like to do with the prize money today, we have a traditional family holiday where 9 of us go away. That'll be sister, daughters, brother-in-law, mum and dad. So that makes a 9 up. That's what I'm going to use the money for today.
And you think that your time spent waiting for fares and reading has built up your general knowledge?
Yeah, cabbies do sit around a lot and it gets boring, so I like to keep my mind active, so yeah.
All right, well, Terry, it's now you versus the usual suspects. They were your teammates, and now they're your enemies. Anyone in particular up there you got your eye on your road?
I'm seriously worried about David.
With his quiz knowledge, yeah.
Definitely.
Well, he should be dangerous, shouldn't he? All right, well, look, their job is to stop you from winning the prize fund, because your failure will mean the prize fund rolls over to the next game. Every game on Perfection is worth £1,000. Here's the good news. Nobody's won the last 5 games, so the prize fund currently sits at £6,000. Here's how the game works. You'll play 3 rounds and then the final. Every round that you achieve perfection will make the final easier for you. However, if your performance is anything less than perfect, the usual suspects will have a chance to step in and steal the round, making the final much harder. Usual suspects, we're going to switch you off for now, so you can't see or hear anything. And away they go. You can now talk through your answers without giving away any vital knowledge. Each round consists of 4 true or false statements. You'll be answering against the clock. You'll get 45 seconds. And once you've given your answer, the first answer, it'll be locked in. Happy?
Yeah, happy, yeah.
Then let's play Perfection. Round 1, your 45 seconds starts now. Robert Plant was a member of Black Sabbath.
That's false.
False.
It's a different band, but I don't think it's Black Sabbath.
Housey Housey is another name for roulette.
I've never heard of that. I'm not really a casino goer, so I'm going to say false there.
False. The Atlantic is the world's largest ocean.
I'm going to go for true there.
True. And finally, Look Back in Anger is a play by John Osborne.
While Stabbing in the Dark, false.
False. And with time to spare, you've answered all 4 statements. Was that a good round or a difficult one?
No, I didn't like that at all. I wasn't comfortable with all of them, so...
Before we reveal how well you've done, it's time to bring back the usual suspects. So, usual suspects, these were the 4 statements, and next to them are Terry's answers. Jane, has he achieved perfection?
I'm not sure about D. I think Osborne possibly did write Look Back in Anger.
David, what do you think?
I agree that John Osborne did write Look Back in Anger. I also think the Pacific is the world's largest ocean.
Terry, you need to have answered all 4 statements perfectly to have won the round. Let's find out how many you got correct. Two out of 4, I'm afraid, isn't perfection, and therefore you've let your enemies, the usual suspects, into the game. Usual suspects, can you steal the round? You can see Terry's answers. You need to change 2 of them. Which 2 is it going to be?
D,
I think we definitely changed. Yeah, D, yeah.
Can we change D, please, Nick, from false to true?
D changes from false to true.
I know that Robert Plant wasn't in Black Sabbath.
No, he wasn't.
And I know that...
Is that bingo?
That's bingo, yeah.
Yeah, so it's got to be C then.
Yeah. Can we change C as well, please, Nick, to false?
C changes from true to false, leaving A and B as answered by Terry. Usual suspects, let's find out what the correct answers are. Robert Plant was a member of Black Sabbath. Is that true or false? It is false. It was, in fact, Led Zeppelin. Housey Housey is another name for roulette. True or false? It's false. You're right, David. It is bingo. The Atlantic is the world's largest ocean. Is that true or false? It is false. It is, in fact, the Pacific. So you know where this is going. Look Back in Anger is a play by John Osborne. True or false? It's true. Congratulations, usual suspects. You've achieved perfection. Terry, they managed to succeed where you failed, and as a result, they've stolen the round. You now have the opportunity, usual suspects, to make Terry's chances of winning the prize fund much harder in the final. Appearing before you, Terry, are your 6 blank spaces. They all need to be filled with subject categories, starting with capitals ranging through wits, Brunel, and many more in between. But because the usual suspects stole the round from you, they choose the 2 categories, hoping to make the final much harder for you to win. Usual suspects, which 2 would you like, Terry, to play in the final?
I would go with rappers.
Terry doesn't look the type to know anything about rappers.
He doesn't,
particularly.
really, does he?
No.
We do rappers. Plays, maybe.
Done.
Play, we can go, well, he didn't know about John Osborne, did he?
No.
So
No,
plays might be a good
Plays and
call.
rappers.
Yeah?
Can we have plays and rappers, please, Nick?
Plays goes across into the final, and so does rappers. Well done, usual suspects. You've won the first round. Time to switch you off. We'll see you in round 2. And away they go. Terry, with the usual suspects gone and unable to hear you. Do you know anything about rappers?
I think they possibly got it right, yeah. I'm rubbish at that. Definitely in the plays as well, like
Which ones would you like from there?
possibly capitals I'll be good at. Money,
Capitals and money?
yeah.
Well, Terry, you still have 2 more rounds to find perfection and choose your own categories for the final. You ready for the next round?
I'm perfectly ready, yep.
Let's play round 2. Your 45 seconds starts now. Wormwood Scrubs Prison is in North Yorkshire.
That's definitely false, that's London.
False. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher.
That's definitely true.
True. In the USA, Independence Day falls in November.
Yeah, that's November the 4th, so that's true.
True. And finally, J-Lo had a UK #1 single in 2011.
J-Lo, this is... I'm going to have a wild guess at this, because I don't follow the current music, so I'm going to go for true.
True. And with time to spare, you've answered all 4 statements. What do you think?
Honestly, stumbling on the J-Lo
Bit of
one.
a guess
but-
on the last one, but the rest
yeah,
felt all right.
Yeah, that was more natural, yeah.
Before we reveal exactly how well you've done, time to bring back the usual suspects. So, usual suspects, these were the 4 statements, and next to them are Terry's answers. Helen, has he achieved perfection?
No, Independence Day is July the 4th. Thanksgiving is in November. But the other 3 I think he's got right.
David, do you think he's achieved perfection?
I'll agree with Helen on that. Independence Day is in July.
Terry, you need to have answered all 4 statements perfectly to have won the round. Let's find out how many are correct. Three out of 4 is not bad, but it's not good enough. You failed to achieve perfection. You've now let your enemies, the usual suspects, into the game. Usual suspects, can you steal the round? You can see Terry's answers. You need to change one.
I think we'll go for C, Nick.
Will you? Really? OK, so C changes from true to false, leaving A, B and D as answered by Terry. Usual suspects, let's find out what the correct answers are. Wormwood Scrubs Prison is in North Yorkshire. True or false? Yeah, it's false. It is in London. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher. True or false? Yeah, true. In the USA, Independence Day falls in November.
I said the 4th, didn't I? And I've got a month wrong.
You said true. They changed it to false. Is it true or false? Yeah, it's false. It's the 4th of July, as said by the usual suspects. So you know where this is going again, don't you? J-Lo had a UK #1 single in 2011. Is it true or false? It's true. Congratulations, usual suspects. You have achieved perfection. So, the usual suspects have succeeded where you failed, which means they've stolen the round. Usual suspects, you now have the opportunity to make Terry's chances of winning the prize a little harder. Let's have a look at the final board. There it is, with 2 subjects already chosen by the usual suspects, and because you won the round again, you get the right to choose the next 2 categories to add to the board.
There's an awful lot of words in the English language.
Yes. Do
So,
you want to
a lot
go?
of words.
Yeah, can we go with words, please, Nick?
You can. Words goes across.
I still like the idea of the dong.
Do you want to go dung? Will that make you happy?
yes,
Well,
it
it'll make you happy, David.
We'll go dung, please, Nick, just to please David.
And for David's benefit, apparently, done. Congratulations, usual suspects. It's time to switch you off and we'll see you in round 3. And away they go. How do you feel about done?
I think they're well in control of the game now. I think they've got me.
Are you ready to play the last round?
Perfectly ready, yep.
Let's play round 3. Your 45 seconds starts now. The coipu is a large reptile.
I'm going to guess there and go false.
False. Jamie Cullum married Jodie Kidd in 2010.
Didn't even know he got married. I'll go for false.
False. Daniel Vettori is a South African cricketer.
I've seen that name, that's true.
True. And finally, Neighbours first aired in the UK in
I remember I
1986.
was leaving school that time, 86. I was stuck at home revising. Definitely, yeah, true.
True. And with time to spare, you've answered all 4 statements. Happy with that, Stone? You seem more positive.
Yeah, a little bit of guesswork in there again.
OK, before we reveal how well you've done, it's time for us to bring back the usual suspects. So, usual suspects, these were the 4 statements, and next to them are Terry's answers. David, has he achieved perfection?
No, there's at least one wrong. That is Daniel Vittori, who plays cricket for New Zealand. The rest I'm not certain about.
Helen, do you agree?
I do agree, actually, and I know absolutely nothing about cricket, but one of my best friends loves cricket, so, you know, you pick up the odd fact every now and again.
Terry, the moment of truth. You need to have answered all 4 statements perfectly to have won the round. Let's find out how many are correct. Three out of 4 is not bad, but I think you've got a pretty good idea. It's not good enough. You let your enemies, the usual suspects, into the game. Usual suspects, can you steal the round? You can see Terry's answers. You need to change just one of them.
I'll be definitely going with
Yes,
cricket one, yeah.
certain. Yes, I'm certain on that.
Yeah, can we just change C, please, Nick, from true to false?
Yeah, I thought you might. C changes from true to false, leaving A, B and D as answered by Terry. Usual suspects. Let's find out what the correct answers are. The coipu is a large reptile. True or false? It's false. It is a large rodent, in actual fact. Jamie Cullum married Jodie Kidd in 2010. True or false? False. He married Sophie Dahl. Daniel Vittori is a South African cricketer. True or false? False. He's from New Zealand, as David actually said. So, Neighbours first aired in the UK in 1986. We know where this is going. Is it true or false? Yep, it's true. Congratulations, usual suspects. You have achieved perfection. Usual suspects, you now have the opportunity to make Terry's chances of winning the prize fund as hard as it can be. Let's see the final board. 4 subjects already on there, all chosen by you, and because usual suspects, you won that round, you've earned the right to choose the last 2 subjects as well. So what are they going to be?
Oscars have been going since 1929, so there's an awful lot of Oscars there, yes.
And then bestsellers.
Another
Bestsellers.
booky sort of thing.
Bestsellers. We've got
Not that you can't read, Terry, but we just... Oscars and bestsellers, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Can we have Oscars and bestsellers, please, Nick?
Yes, Oscars goes across, and bestsellers. We now know our 6 final categories: plays, rappers, words, dung, Oscars and bestsellers. OK, guys, it's time to switch you off for the final time, and away they go. So what about you? More to the point, you could have actually had 2 rounds where you got perfection.
I think I rushed myself with some of those things, and afterwards, and I've just kicked myself.
No, I think you're right. Both times you made mistakes by jumping in rather than taking a little bit of time. And of course, the final, there's no time limit. Anyway, Terry, for £6,000, it's time to play the final. Terry, this is the all-important final. If you can achieve perfection, you could be leaving with a prize fund of £6,000. If you fail, you'll be leaving with nothing, which would be great news for the usual suspects, as one of them could be playing for a rollover of £7,000 on the next game. What you want to do is win the money. That will show them, won't it?
Definitely, I'm up for it.
You ready?
Let's go, yeah.
Good. Let's play the final round. Terry, here are your 6 final categories. They are plays, rappers, words, dung, Oscars and bestsellers. You must answer all 6 statements correctly if you want to win the £6,000. Think carefully, there's no time limit, but once you've given an answer, your first answer is locked in.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep, ready.
Right, let's reveal your first statement. Please tell me whether you believe it to be true or false. Plays. Arthur Miller wrote Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Arthur Miller, he was a guy married to Marilyn Monroe, wasn't it? Still, how long was he about before then? It's a tricky one. I think it's an old film, isn't it? Is it 30s? I'm going to go false there.
False. Rappers. Ice Cube studied architectural drafting at college.
What an amazing question. Is that so bizarre that it's true? Can't even picture Ice Cube as well, so they've got me right, sussed me out, haven't they? It just seems so bizarre, I'm just going to say true for that one.
True. Words. There are 3,000 years in a triennium.
1,000 years, triennium. I don't think I've ever heard the term triennium. I'll go for false there.
False. dung. Damien Hirst often uses elephant dung in his art.
That's a guy who does all the bizarre sculptures, isn't it? The sheep and stuff like that. Have I read in the papers that he's used elephant dung? Often. Is that saying he uses that every time? Is that a word? I've got to go false here because often just seems he uses it, works with elephant dung all the time to me. That's what that says. False, yeah.
False. Oscars. Titanic won 14 Oscars.
It won an immense amount. I would say, I think it's 12. I've got to go false there, Nick.
False. And finally, bestsellers. John Grisham wrote The Lost Symbol.
I think that's another author. The Lost Symbol. I'm going for false here.
False. And with that, those answers are locked in. Remember, if there is one single mistake, you leave with nothing. So which one are you most unsure of?
All of them.
Well, you know, you've got a 50-50 chance on each one, haven't you, on a true or false? Let's switch on the usual suspects. Usual suspects, you can now see the final 6 statements, and next to them are Terry's answers. Terry, your answers are locked in. You can't change them by yourself. But if you think you've made a mistake, you can unlock the board with the help of the usual suspects. This will, however, come at a cost. Usual suspects, I'm now going to ask you to tell me how well you think Terry has done, if you want to help, and if you do, how much it will cost. Terry, who would you like to hear from first?
Let's try Jane.
There are definitely 2 that I know are wrong.
Right.
Possibly come down and bargain if the money was right.
£6,000 an offer here, isn't it?
If I was offer you £1,000 each for your answers, your 2 answers?
Oh, no.
No?
I think we'd have to go halves.
Oh, do you want to go?
It's something to think about. I need to chat with the others first, see what they're thinking, yeah.
David?
Terry, I'm certain at least one of them's wrong and possibly a second, but I'm not 100% certain, so you would be without me, I'm afraid, Terry.
Not at any price, David?
No, not for the whole lot.
£6,000 at stake.
Helen, finally you, darling?
I know that you've definitely got 1 wrong. I think possibly 2, but I wouldn't want to walk away with absolutely nothing. I think I'm going to have to just leave you to it, Terry, and good luck.
What about Jane? She said she's up for coming down.
She's bluffed a few times when I've been in the box with her, so I think she's just using that to get me out and build the fund up.
She says she'll come down, though, for half your money.
Half the money? Am I being stupid? Do you know what? I'm going to do it myself.
You're going on your own?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, lovely. Negotiations are over. £6,000 at stake. 6 answers away. Let's find out if you've achieved perfection. Let's start at the top then. Arthur Miller wrote Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. You said that was false. We need this to turn red. Is it true or false? It's false. Tennessee Williams. Ice Cube studied architectural drafting at college. True or false? You said true. We need this to turn green. There you go. Congratulations. 2 out of 2. You're a third of the way to the money. C. There are 3,000 years in a triennium. You said that was false. You spent a long time thinking about this one. There are 3,000 years in a triennium. We need this to turn red. Is it true or false? It's false. It's 3 years. Halfway to £6,000 on your own. Have you pulled it off?
No, I think there's something just going to kick me right in the wrong place.
Damien Hirst often uses elephant dung in his art. You said false. We need this to turn red. To leave you just 2 away from the money. Damien Hirst often uses elephant dung in his art. True or false? False. Chris Afili often uses elephant dung in his art. So, £6,000. You're 2 away from it now. You thought you had no chance at all when we started, and here we are, 2/3 of the way to the money, 4 correct answers. And moving on to E, Titanic won 14 Oscars was the statement. You thought that was false.
I thought it was 12, yeah.
Yeah. So we need this to turn red to put you one away from the £6,000. Is it true or false? It's false.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Titanic won 11 Oscars, just to clear that up.
I've got down to the last one. And I've guessed every one.
Have you really?
Yeah, I'm not a
Honestly?
liar, honestly, yeah. I can't lie. I haven't got it in me.
You right? Do you need to breathe?
Yeah,
All right, son,
yeah,
you're
I'm
right.
struggling. I'm going to jelly. Oh.
5 out of 6 now, and just 1 to go. Terry, you said you sat around reading books in your taxi. When this came up, John Grisham wrote The Lost Symbol.
Oh, this is torture.
You thought that may not be true. You thought it was a different author, so you went with false. You therefore need this to turn red to walk out of here with £6,000 to spend on that family holiday. John Grisham wrote The Lost Symbol.
Can't do it. I can't do it.
Is it true or false for £6,000?
Please, hurry up.
It's false! Congratulations! You've achieved perfection! Congratulations, well played, you did a great job. Look at that board. You achieved perfection with 6 correct answers. It wasn't John Grisham that wrote The Lost Symbol. It was, in fact,
Dan Brown.
Dan Brown.
Oh.
Can you believe that?
No, I can't believe it. It's amazing.
All right, so let's talk about the £6,000. You won £6,000. You want to take your son away on a holiday?
I've got mum and dad, sister, brother-in-law, 3 nieces. So they've got free holiday as well. Yes.
Fantastic news. Unfortunately for you, usual suspects, the prize fund has been won. So we reset the total back to £1,000 in the next game. Congratulations, Terry. Do you know what? Early on in the game, after they chose all the subjects, I said to you, the only way you can get them back is by winning the cash. You only went ahead and did it. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Terry, who achieved perfection and won £6,000. Wow, how do you move on from that? Well, it's time to meet the next usual suspect who's hoping to play perfection today. New usual suspect, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Hems. I'm from West Hamilton, and I'm a coffee shop owner.
Hey, Hems, you run a coffee shop. Those are always the centre of town, really, these days, aren't they?
Yes, Nick.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Leicester?
Yes, I've been to Leicester, lovely city, yeah,
Well,
very
why
much.
haven't you been in my shop then?
I'm sorry, I'll get there as soon as possible. Listen, best of luck to all of you as we now find out which one of you has been randomly picked to play perfection. Helen, it's you that's been chosen. Please come and play perfection. Hello, Helen.
Hi there.
Nice to have you down here.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the game.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit more about yourself then and your family.
I'm 31 years old, live in Leicester. I work as a care coordinator for a domiciliary care company. We provide care to elderly, vulnerable adults within the home. And I'm going to university to study mental health nursing, so...
So you learned a whole new skill set?
Yes, yeah, surrounded by people young enough to technically be my children.
No, that's not true at all. Can't possibly be true. Well, Helen, it's now you versus the usual suspects. They were your teammates. Now they are your enemies. Every game on perfection is worth £1,000. Unfortunately for you, the previous game was won. So the prize fund is reset to £1,000. But if you're going back to uni, £1,000 is very handy.
Well, that's a good 3 months' rent, that is, so that'll be keep a roof over my head.
Definitely. Let me remind you how the game works. You'll play 3 rounds and then a final. Every round that you achieve perfection will make the final easier for you. However, if your performance is anything less than perfect, the usual suspects here will have a chance to step in and steal the round, making the final that much harder. OK, usual suspects, we're going to switch you off for now so you can't see or hear anything. Cheerio. And away they go. Ready?
Yes, I am.
Then let's play perfection. Round 1, your 45 seconds start now. Andy Carroll signed for Chelsea FC in 2011.
True.
True. Tony Blair's oldest son is called Ewan.
True.
True.
Yeah.
The comedian Harry Hill qualified as a doctor.
True.
True. And
Yeah.
finally, a light year is a unit of distance.
False.
False.
Yeah.
Loads of time left, but you answered all 4 statements. Happy with that?
Yeah, no, not really, but...
Before we reveal how well you've done, it's time to bring back the usual suspects. So, usual suspects, these are the 4 statements, and next to them are Helen's answers. Jane, has she achieved perfection?
I think she might have done.
David, what do you think?
No, there is at least one wrong. That's a light year. The light year is a unit of distance in astronomy.
Hems?
I am sure that Andy Carroll didn't sign for Chelsea. I thought he signed for Liverpool.
Helen, the moment of truth. You need to have answered all 4 statements perfectly to have won the round. Let's find out how many are correct. 2 out of 4 is just not good enough, I'm afraid. You haven't achieved perfection. You've now let your enemies, the usual suspects, into the game. Usual suspects, can you steal this round? You can see Helen's answers. You need to change 2 of them, but which 2?
I'm sure A is wrong.
I think you're probably right
And,
as well. And the light year is
light year's one.
Light year is unit of
And I
distance.
think the 2 middle ones are definitely correct, as she's answered.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Can we change A from true to false, please, Nick?
A changes from true to false,
And D from false to true.
and D from false to true, leaving B and C as answered by Helen. Usual suspects, let's find out what the correct answers are. Andy Carroll signed for Chelsea FC in 2011. True or false? False, you're absolutely right, Hems. It was Liverpool. Tony Blair's oldest son is called Ewan. True or false? Yep, true. The comedian Harry Hill qualified as a doctor. True or false? True. So you know where this is going, usual suspects. A light year is a unit of distance. True or false? Yep, it's true. Congratulations, usual suspects. You've achieved perfection. Oh dear, Helen.
Well, I knew the football one was wrong because I know absolutely nothing about football.
Yeah, but it's a 50-50 chance you might have guessed right. Either way, they managed to succeed where you failed and they've stolen the round. Usual suspects, you now have the opportunity to make Helen's chances of winning the prize fund much harder in the final. This is your final board. These 6 blank spaces need to be filled with subject categories. Here are your final round categories, going through gangsters, kings, novels and many more in between. But because the usual suspects stole the round, they choose the 2 categories, hoping to make the final harder for you to win. Usual suspects, which 2 subjects would you like Helen to play in the final?
I would steer clear away from celebrities, directors. One that I would definitely take over is something like Bulgaria or composers.
Composers. Helen doesn't seem to be the classical music type to me.
She'll struggle with them, definitely.
Yeah. All right then. Can we have Bulgaria and composers, please, Nick?
Bulgaria goes across, and composers. Well done, usual suspects. You won the first round. It's time to switch you off, and we'll see you in round 2. And away they go. Helen, with the usual suspects gone, and they can't hear you, what do you think of their choices? Bulgaria?
Well, I'm rubbish at geography, but I think they guessed that from my previous answers.
Composers.
I might be all right. I'm grade 8 piano, but I've not played since I was 16.
Oh, yeah, but you've done a bit of classical music then.
Yeah.
It's only the first round, and you still have 2 more rounds to find perfection. Let's play round 2. Your 45 seconds start now. Dad's Army was first shown in the 1950s.
False.
False. Sebastian Faulks has written a James Bond book.
False.
False. Dee Kafari is a famous sailor.
I have literally no idea. True.
True. And finally, Margaret Thatcher became Prime Minister in 1975.
False.
False. Loads of time to spare, but you've answered all 4 statements. Was that a better round?
No, it was worse.
Was it really?
Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Before we reveal how well you've done, it's time to bring back the usual suspects. So, usual suspects, these were the 4 statements, and next to them are Helen's answers. David, has she achieved perfection?
I think she probably has in this occasion. Nick, yes.
Hems?
I'm sure she's got 2 of them correct, A and D, but I haven't got a clue about the middle 2.
Jane, has she achieved perfection?
I think she might have done in this case, yes.
Helen, the moment of truth. Let's find out how many are correct. 3 out of 4, close. But as they say, no cigar. Helen, you failed to achieve perfection. You've let your enemies, the usual suspects, into the game. Usual suspects, can you steal the round? You can see Helen's answers. You need to change one of them, but which one?
A and D are correct. I know that.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not sure about D. Kafari.
I don't remember the name for James Bond, even as a co-writer.
So let's go for C.
Oh, go for C.
OK.
Yeah.
Can we change C, please, Nick?
C changes from true to false, leaving A, B and D as answered by Helen. Usual suspects, let's find out what the correct answers are. Dad's Army was first shown in the 1950s. Is that true or false? It is false. Started in 1968. Sebastian Faulks has written a James Bond book. True or false? It's true. You've blown it, usual suspects. You failed to achieve perfection. You can't now steal the round. I wonder whether you're still on for perfection at home. Let's go through the rest of the statements. He did write the book, by the way, The Devil May Care. Right, moving on. D. Kafari is a famous sailor. True or false? True. And Margaret Thatcher became Prime Minister in 1975. True or false? False. It was, in fact, 1979. Let's have a look at the final board. First two subjects chosen by the usual suspects, but because neither side won that round, the two categories that were going to be chosen will now be carried over to the next round, meaning that 4 categories will be on offer. Usual suspects, I'm going to switch you off. We'll see you in round 3. You ready to play the next round?
Let's do it, yeah.
OK, let's play round 3. Your 45 seconds starts now. Will Young won the X Factor?
False.
False. Greg Ruzetsky is a left-handed tennis player.
True.
True. The Cuban Missile Crisis occurred in 1972.
False.
False. And finally, Bradley Cooper stars in The Hangover, Part 2.
True.
True. With loads of time to spare, you've answered all 4 statements. You look very happy with that.
Oh, I love Bradley Cooper.
Does he?
Yeah, I really admire his artistic skill. B and C, I'm not too sure, but I think the Cuban Missile Crisis was... I've got a feeling it was during when JFK was alive, but he died in the 60s, but I might have got that completely wrong.
Before we reveal how well you've done, it's time for us to bring back the usual suspects. So, usual suspects, these were the 4 statements, and next to them are Helen's answers. Hems, has she achieved perfection?
The first 2 she's definitely got right, and the last 2 I'm not sure on. So she might have achieved it, I don't know.
David, has she achieved perfection?
I said yes to last time and I was wrong, but I'm going to say yes again this time, and maybe I'll be right this time.
You think it's a good set of answers. Jane, do you agree?
I think she's got them right.
Yes. Well, Helen, the moment of truth. Let's find out how many are correct. Congratulations, Helen, you've achieved perfection. Let's have a look at those answers in more detail, and you can sit there with a slightly smug smile on your face
I'm
whilst
good
we
at
go
smug.
through them. OK, Will Young won the X Factor. You knew that one straight away.
Oh, it's Pop Idol.
You said false. It is, of course, false. It was Pop Idol. Greg Ruzetsky is a left-handed tennis player. You said true. You're absolutely right. He is a left-handed player. The Cuban Missile Crisis occurred in 1972. You said false. It is, of course, false, and it was 1962, not 72. And finally, Bradley Cooper stars in The Hangover Part 2, and because of your interest in his artistic ability, you said true, and it is, in fact, true. Bad luck, guys. She's on fire at the moment, isn't she?
She's doing very well.
Let's have a look at your final board. You've earned the right to choose the next 4 categories to add to the board. That's 2 from this round and 2 that rolled over from the previous round. So, which ones do you fancy?
Celebrities, definitely.
Celebrities goes across.
Yeah. I'm going to go weddings.
Weddings.
Yeah. Gangsters.
Gangsters.
I'm going to go for novels as well, just in the vain hope that it's one I've read.
And novels goes into the final. We now know our 6 final categories. They are Bulgaria, composers, celebrities, weddings, gangsters, and novels. It's time to switch off the usual suspects for the last time. And away they go. That's a pretty good board, really, isn't it?
Yeah, apart from Bulgaria.
You never know. It might be something you know about Bulgaria.
It would be a shock to all of us, I think, including me.
OK, Helen, for £1,000, it's time to play the final. Helen, this is the all-important final. If you could achieve perfection, you could be leaving with a prize fund of £1,000. £1,000. If you fail, you'll be leaving with nothing, which is great news for these usual suspects, as one of them could be playing for a rollover of £2,000 on the next game. Let's play the final round. Helen, here are your final 6 categories. They are Bulgaria, composers, celebrities, weddings, gangsters and novels. You must answer all 6 statements correctly if you want to win the £1,000. Think carefully. There's no time limit. But once you've given an answer, your first answer, it's locked in.
OK.
You ready?
Yes, sure.
Let's reveal the first statement.
Okay.
Bulgaria. The forint is the monetary unit of Bulgaria.
I've literally no idea whatsoever. Right, I don't think they're in the euro, so I've never even heard of the forint, so it could be the monetary unit on the moon for all I know. Let's say true.
True.
Yeah.
Composers. Edward Elgar composed God Save the Queen.
He's a British composer, so that's a good start. This is awful. This is something I really should know, isn't it? The national anthem. Let's say false.
False.
Yeah.
That's the 2 subjects chosen by the usual suspects out of the way. Now we're into subjects chosen by yourself. Celebrities. Yeah. Tom Cruise once dated Cher.
True.
True.
Yeah.
Weddings. Elizabeth Taylor married 8 times.
I know she married Richard Burton twice. It was either 8 or 9. I'm going to say, we'll say 8, true.
True.
Yeah.
Gangsters. Al Capone was imprisoned for tax evasion.
True.
True.
Yeah.
And finally, novels. John Steinbeck wrote The Grapes of Wrath.
I think that's true.
True.
I think, yeah. Let's go.
So, Helen, those answers are locked in. Remember, if there's one single mistake, you leave with nothing. Which ones are you unsure of?
Tom Cruise did date Cher. I know that's right. Al Capone was in prison for tax evasion because that's all they could get him on. John Steinbeck wrote For the Grapes of Wrath. I'm not sure about the number of times Liz Taylor was married, and the first 2 are pure guesses.
So A, B and D are your worries?
Really are, yeah.
Let's switch on the usual suspects. Usual suspects, you can now see the final 6 statements, and next to them are Helen's answers. Helen, your answers are locked in, and you can't change them by yourself. But if you think you've made a mistake, you can unlock them with the help of the usual suspects. This will, however, come at a cost. Helen, who would you like to hear from first?
Let's hear from Jane.
I think there's one wrong, but I'm not prepared to come down.
Definitely not?
No.
Not for any amount of money?
No.
She's not sure then. David.
There's some good answers, Helen, but one of them at least is definitely wrong. And as it's only £1,000, you're on your own.
Yeah, thought we probably would be.
He wants the money to roll over, doesn't he?
I know he does, yeah. Go on, Hems.
I know for a fact you've got 1 wrong, but there are 2 or 3 there which I don't know either way, so even if I came down, I wouldn't be able to help you, Helen.
How much would it cost you to come down here and help me with that one that you know is wrong?
Even if you offered me £999.99, I wouldn't take it because it wouldn't be worth my while, Helen.
Well, that's fine. Thanks
I'm
for your
really
help.
sorry.
So, Helen, none of our usual suspects willing to help. £1,000 at stake, 6 answers away. Let's find out if you've achieved perfection. I'll tell you what, let's start with your categories, because you felt a lot more comfortable on your categories and go in the other direction. So let's go from the bottom and work our way up. John Steinbeck wrote The Grapes of Wrath. You thought that was true. We need this to turn green to get you off to a good start. Is it true or false? It's true. There you go. Al Capone was in prison for tax evasion. You said you absolutely knew this to be true.
Yeah.
So it will turn green.
I hope so.
We all hope so. Is it true or false? It's true. 2 out of 2 and a third of the way towards the money. Elizabeth Taylor married 8 times. You thought it might be 8, it might be 9, but in the end you decided to go with true.
Yeah.
Is it true or false? 7 different men because Richard Burton twice,
Yeah.
as you said. Right, Tom Cruise once dated Cher. You said that that was true. Is it true or false? It'll turn green if it's true, and you'll be only 2 away from the £1,000. Tom Cruise once dated Cher. Is it true or false? It's true. Well, now that's all of your questions, all the subject categories that you chose.
Yeah.
So we now move to the two that the usual suspects chose for you.
Yeah.
Edward Elgar composed God Save the Queen.
I think I've got that one wrong now.
Do you?
I think I've got it wrong.
You think he might have done?
Yeah.
Well, you said false. We need it to turn red for you to be one away from £1,000. Mm-hmm. Is it true or false? It's false. Oddly enough, its authorship is unknown.
Oh, right.
My word. See, now you weren't very confident when we started, were you? But here we are.
This is the worst one, definitely.
Is it really?
Yeah, because I have no clue about Bulgaria or money in any monetary unit.
So, you're now one answer away from walking out of here with £1,000. Fingers crossed. The forint is the monetary unit of Bulgaria. You owned up to the fact that you had absolutely no idea.
No, not a clue.
So this was just a guess.
Yeah.
You said it was true. The forint is the monetary unit of Bulgaria. Is it true or false for £1,000? It's false.
Oh, wow.
It's the monetary unit of Hungary. But when you think about it, you said that was the tough board. You didn't have much confidence. And in the end, it came down to a 50-50. One you got right, one you got wrong. I'm afraid you failed to achieve perfection, so you go home with no money. But, usual suspects, that's great news for you. The prize fund rolls over to the next game, where one of you could be playing for £2,000. Helen, you failed to achieve perfection, which means you go home with nothing. But you enjoy playing?
Yeah, I loved it.
Lovely having you here. Ladies and gentlemen, Helen. Well, that's all we have time for. Please join us next time when our usual suspects have the chance to play again, this time for £2,000. And remember, 5 out of 6 just isn't good enough. On this show, as we've seen, we pay only for perfection. Goodbye.